the idea that hypergamy does not exist in real life is utter and complete hokum bullshit nonsense. Hypergamy is it more real now than it has ever been probably at any point in history. Number one precipitator of a man going years without sex is? No, what is
Karens.
it? What is it? Karens? Any other thing? What do you think?
Being broke.
Being broke.
Yes.
Being
What?
unemployed or underemployed is the number one corollary to him going years without sex.
Oh,
That is
like
true.
a single guy.
Yeah,
Because
a single guy.
they
You guys should
can't
listen.
afford women.
Scott Galloway talks about this when he talks about the declining marriage rate. One of the things he says is no one wants to mate with broke men. That's the truth. I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm saying as a man, it kind of motivates me to make more money. But I will tell you, the idea that hypergamy does not exist in real life is utter and complete hokum bullshit nonsense. Hypergamy is it more real now than it has ever been probably at any point in history, save for one point where there were 17 women for every one man reproducing about 9,000 years ago. That's probably the only other exception. But right now is the most hypergamous time, meaning there's a small group of men who are getting a lot of attention from women. I'm not saying, sorry, adolescents. I'm not saying 20% of men are sleeping with 80% of women.
Oh,
Nobody's
we're going
saying
to
that.
talk about that today.
Nobody's saying that. What I am
definitely
saying,
talking
though,
about
is
that
that
today.
when you look at dating apps, the top 10% of men get 100 matches for every 1,000 right swipes.
Yep.
The average man gets 6 matches
I
for
can
every
see that,
1,000
though,
right swipes.
because
I could see it.
Well,
if anything happened with me and
Yeah.
Matt, God forbid,
Yeah.
I could not date somebody or be with somebody who didn't bring the same level to the table.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It would just be off.
Also,
So I could see that.
Go ahead.
I also think that there's like this dating hierarchy, and it has to do with social media as well. You got to think we have so much overconsumption of people's dream lives and their like highs. So we see, we have access to things that we didn't used to have access to. We see these men with all this money, and we see people like, and I like Shira 7. But like still, we see people like Shira 7 who are preaching, get with somebody with money, get with someone like, you know.
I actually
for
like Shira
yourself.
7's honesty. I'm gonna see if Shira 7 come on my show. Like at first I was like, oh, this is toxic. And then I was like, oh, she's being honest. Like again, I understand the way you look at it like this. If you ever asked your son if you would be cool with him dating a stripper, ask your daughter if you would be okay with him dating someone who's broke. As a man, it seems shallow that women care so much about money. Until I think about my daughter, then I would be like, oh no, I don't want to be with someone broke. Then it makes sense. It's the same thing for you. When we're talking about you have a girl who films with multiple different men on her OF, and now that girl is dating your son, you'd be like, oh wait, maybe that's not what I want. You're less judgmental for yourself, which is fine. But when you think about your offspring, then you might have a different answer. That's the only thing I'm saying.
All right, watch the screen. I got a perfect video for this. Perfect segue here.
He were broke, I wouldn't choose him. And not because I'm shallow, but because it's my standard. Let's be honest, if I didn't match his taste, his lifestyle, I wouldn't even be considered. So why should I ignore what matters to me? I've built a beautiful life. I've created financial abundance on my own. So yes, a man's financial stability matters to me, not because I need his money, but because I need his mindset, I need his drive, his ability to build, lead, and match what I've created for myself. And yes, I believe in love, but I also believe in alignment, and choosing wisely is part of loving wisely.
Rollo, what do you think about this?
When we were on the show the last time we were here, and I forget the girl's name, I'm sorry. I was talking to her about her describing 2 different men. One of them was the guy that I really loved. He's got to be emotionally available, and I really want to be with him. And you know, we got to connect on some sort of like astral plane or some, you know, energies have to be in alignment, like sync up. But then she also goes on to describe the guy who's going to build an empire with, and we both have to be on the cover of Forbes magazine, and we both have to make millions of dollars each. And it's like I wouldn't even consider a guy unless he's economically attractive. He's making at least as much money as I am, plus another 50%, 68% on top of that. So at least half again, and he's not even in the running. Now they'll talk about the guy that they want to have sex with and they want to have an emotional connection with, and I realized at that point that they were describing 2 different guys. Are you looking for 2 different men, or are you trying to find the perfect
Are you saying it can't be
amalgamation
both?
between the 2 of them?
Are you saying it can't be both?
I'm sure it can be both, yeah.
It's rare.
It's rare,
but
yeah.
it can happen.
It's like
can
checking all the boxes, you know, like good finance, good, doesn't annoy you.
Yeah.
You know, like you could be in the same
See,
room as them
I'm
for like.
I'm of the opinion that I think that a lot of the sort of like we could say there's this big crisis in dating and everything right
It's
now.
huge.
And I think half of the reason is women are looking for two different guys. They're looking for the guy who's the guy that they want to be on the cover of Forbes with, and they're looking for the guy that they want to have this emotional sort of spiritual connection with, who them good, if that's part of that equation, but does not necessarily measure up economically like the other guy does. And the other guy is much rarer than the guy who you're going to meet at a club, and he's a sandwich artist at Subway, but he really lays down the good. He's really he's a fun guy to be with.